What have you found to be the single best way to get listings?
Outbound prospecting, whether doesn't matter what lead source, but just reaching out to people, calling them up on the phone. That's been by far the most effective thing for me.
Come on. I mean, it's 2025. There's got to be some sexier thing than that. I mean, when you say that, and I know that's what we do, right? I'm being a little facetious, but
Yeah.
the reason I bring that up is I think for people, they just need to continue to hear it. They've got to continue to pick the phone up and talk to people. It's the fastest way to get clients. You get instant feedback. Were there things, Otis, that you've tried that maybe led you astray that I don't know if you've ever battled with shiny object syndrome like most of us have that got you away from the phones at all that maybe didn't work?
I mean, I would say it got me away from the phones. It was stuff I did before the phones because I got into this right out of high school. So I didn't know anything about business or real estate. I'm clueless. I knew nothing. So
Yeah.
I learned the hard way through so much of this stuff, like door knocking. I was doing open houses, just clueless, paid the ignorance tax for quite a while. And this is just so much more predictable and you can track it in a much easier way compared to other things. I can sit in my house and just dial all day. It's the most simple, efficient thing ever, honestly.
Yeah. And you've got a great mindset, but was that, and I'm going back a couple of years because I know we've been working together for a couple of years, but like, did you have the same fear and creative avoidance in the beginning, or did you find it the way that you just put it pretty simple? You're in your house. It looks like you got a fan on. Maybe you got some air conditioning. You're in a t-shirt. It's pretty comfortable. Did
Yeah.
you find it easy just to pick up the phone and call, or did you struggle in the beginning?
No, dude, I struggled. I mean, I no skills whatsoever because I watched a lot of your videos before joining. And I mean, I'm just like naturally not a super social person. I'm naturally introverted. So going out, meeting with random people and talking to 30, 40 people a day, it did not come easily. It did not
Yeah.
come easily or quickly.
So I think that like most people, if you're going to make if you're going to make outbound prospecting work, the word consistency is it has to enter the conversation. In fact, I wear this bracelet every day and it says consistency is the magic pill. I believe it's the only magic pill. And so what have you done from a tactical perspective to build this habit over the years? Are you in a prospecting group? Like what do you do to build this habit to do this boring mundane work day in and day out?
So I haven't been as active in prospecting groups lately. I really should start hanging out with people more, but I've got like a group of buddies in the group and we're texting back and forth all the time and just sending stuff. So I've got some sort of community there, but the main thing, it went back to something you said probably years ago and you still kind of continue to say it. It was you made the point that humans are motivated by like fear of loss or pain rather than pleasure or desire for something. So I kind of hardwired that into my brain. So now if I like fail to reach my goals for the day, just calling for 4 hours, like it hurts. It genuinely
Mm,
makes me feel terrible about myself. I don't sleep well. Like it ruins the rest of my night because I know that I failed myself ultimately. So
yeah.
it's super, super internal about just wanting to control what I can control. Like if I get a lead or not, or I get a listing appointment or not, whatever. But if I know I put in the work and I did what I was supposed to do, I can live with that. And
Yeah.
that's
So
where it
you
comes
you
from, I think.
yeah, you built a habit that, to your point, if you don't do the thing that most people struggle doing, you actually, that gives you more pain than actually just doing the work. But what about the beginning? What about for all the people, Otis, that maybe here in the live audience that still haven't picked up the phone yet, or maybe they dial, they kind of put their toe in
Mm-hmm.
the water, they get a little bit of rejection, and they're like, "Ah, I can't do that." Or they prospect for 2 days and then they fall off the rails. Then they prospect for 2 days, they fall off the rails. What were you doing if you go back 3 years or however
Yeah.
long you feel like you've? Well, let me ask you this question. How consistent are you? Are you prospecting 5 days a week? And if so,
Well, now, yes. So I really started consistently prospecting in like December of probably 2023, November of 2023. And that's a good way you phrased the question because what really got me dialed in to just meeting the goal, the standard every day was a prospecting group. We all sat on there, and this is a bunch of people we've all been in the group forever, like Brian Lynn, Easy, Joey, all those guys.
yep.
We sat on Discord every day for months just calling. And at this time, none of us had any good business going because we're all brand new and now we're all doing great, which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
And it was just that sense of community. And you want to do as well as these guys are doing, and you don't want to let them down. Pretty much, that's what got it started, and then from there, it just grew into a personal thing as well, where I don't want to fail
100%.
myself. You know,
Totally makes sense. So environment, I guess, was the point, right? So
exactly.
you had to have a strong environment of people that are doing this type of work, because the thought of you trying to do this by yourself without that environment, I think the likelihood for somebody sticking to it long term is pretty low. Would you agree?
Super tough.
Yeah, yeah.
Super
How old
tough.
are you? Are you even 21 yet?
I'm 22.
You're 20. You're 22. Okay. And so I want to walk through your business and what it looks like today. You use the word twice, standard, when it comes to prospecting. Every day, give the audience an idea of how much prospecting you're doing, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper on who you're calling, what you're saying, et cetera, et cetera. But what is the
Yeah.
standard every day?
Yeah.
And really quick, and we'll get right back to the video. But here's what's interesting. 80% of the realtors that watch videos on this channel are not making $100,000 a year. In fact, most of them tell me they feel like underpaid Uber drivers. They're burned out spending their nights and weekends chasing flaky buyers all over town, and as a result, earning less money now than they did before they got into real estate. And if you're in the same boat, I'm going to invite you to actually do something about it. In the description right underneath this video, there's a link for you to schedule a private one-on-one Zoom session where we'll map out a custom step-by-step action plan for you to start earning a minimum of $10,000 every single month starting immediately, which means no more working nights and weekends, and the roller coaster of income can finally come to an end. And no, I'm not going to ask you to buy crap leads that never convert. I'm not going to ask you to post 10 times a day on social media. And I'm definitely not going to ask you to beg your friends and family for referrals. Nope, you're just going to get the exact step-by-step framework that I've used to help over 6,000 agents earn a six-figure income as a listing agent. And so obviously there's only so much time in the day. I mean, we can't do these Zoom calls for everyone, but if you're serious about your business and you're ready to make a change in your business, click the link in the description to get started.
Every day is like minimum 4 hours.
4 hours
Minimum
of
4
prospecting
hours.
every day.
Yeah, non-negotiable, unless very rarely, if I have like a doctor's appointment or something like this right in the middle of my prospecting time, it might switch it up a little bit, or I'm calling in the evening. But yeah, 4 hours is non-negotiable to get the X on the calendar.
Did you guys hear that little jab? That little jab was to his coach, Brandon. Hey, listen, this is right in the middle of my prospecting. So we've got to make sure that we're tight on schedule. And we appreciate you, Otis. I love that. So in that 4 hours, how many people are you typically talking to?
Recently it's been like mid-20s, maybe mid-30s. So I'm meeting with Enzo to get that sorted out with getting the new dialer for Circle, because it's lower than I like it to be. And that's spread across like different lead sources.
Which we'll talk about. Can you, and I know this is where this is probably one of the biggest questions that we get from people that are new to this work is, you know, I call for 3 hours and I talk to 3 people. Can you just give us maybe a couple of tactical things that people can take away to increase contact rate? Like what you've done over the years to say, okay, if I'm not talking to a lot of people, but I'm making the calls, did you do anything with phone numbers? Did you do anything with registration of phone numbers? Did you do anything to help increase the number of people that you do talk to?
Yeah, so we could sit here for a while and go back and forth about that. I saw someone post this earlier in school. Do not use your cell phone number on Mojo. It is the worst thing you can ever do. Go through Burner, go buy Mojo numbers, go get numbers from wherever, and either whitelist them through Mojo or do the like free caller registry and those other 5 links you can do there. What I do is I do a mix of both, because you can't keep calling the same expired lists, have an Otis P REA come up every time. Even if it's a different phone number, they're going to realize it's the same guy. So you got to play around with it a little bit, but you need to have them whitelisted one way or another. And then be strategic about when you call people, I would say too. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and how many contacts are you making per hour? Where does that break out to be? Are you right at the 7,
I mean,
8?
it's like 6, 7.
Yeah.
Depending on what
what the source of business is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can we break that down? So if you do 25 to 30 contacts a day, who Who is it that you're finding the most success with? And I'm sure this has changed over time,
It
but like,
has so much. So I started calling probates this year in
mm,
it was January actually, and that's been my most successful thing this year by far, just from a conversion ratio perspective and just quality leads generated. The issue is I get like 200 probates a month, so I'm very limited with. There's only so much business there, you know.
yeah,
Next, it's been FISBO. My expired conversion's been super low, and then Circle's been obviously low as well.
yeah, got it. So probates, where are you finding data from? Where do you get it from?
I do have probate data. I'm looking to get
.com.
some of it from probate. That's the cheapest one. If they have the counties in your area, which is a big if, that's a no brainer. It's the cheapest one. The data's awesome. They're 99% correct. And if they're not, you can go forewarn the person and find it that way. They
Got it.
just don't have everyone's areas. That's the only downside of it. So they only have half the counties in my area.
So is probate this year? Has it taken over? I know you started calling them in January. Has that been your number one leads source of listings as well? Listings taken?
I think it's tied with expireds from actual like a listings taken sales perspective, but the conversion rate is so much higher. The quality of lead is so much higher. There's like no competition coming from doing FISBOs and expires 24/7. There's like relatively no competition. So it's my favorite lead source by far. And there's a lot more service involved in it rather than just selling or trying to convince them to meet with you like an expired. So it's a
Yeah.
much different change of pace, which is nice.
Yeah, it's really nice and it's really niched, right? And so competition goes down. And let's just kind of walk people through the 30,000 foot view of that because every time we bring somebody on the show, everyone's succeeding in multiple different niches. That's what's so great about this business. It's not just one way to do it. So, last week we talked to Alex Walton and he's doing, essentially off market deals. You're doing
Mhm.
probates. So what does that conversation sound like? How do you approach the conversation? Let's talk about that, and then we'll talk about what goes into listing probate real estate.
I mean, do you want to role play it or what are you thinking?
Yeah, we can role play it if that's all right.
Okay. Ring ring.
Hello, this is Brandon.
Oh, Brandon, hey, this is Otis. Look, I'm a realtor. Before you hang up on me, I was just hoping to ask you something super quick. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So I had a probate file come across my desk here, and it looks like you're the rep on it, but you're not the one handling that, are you?
Yeah, you know what? I am actually.
Oh, okay. And the reason I'm calling you about that, I've been helping a lot of families in the area this year who were going through probate and are just like trying to decide what to do with the family home. I didn't know if you were hoping to keep it in the family, maybe looking at selling, or are you guys doing something else altogether?
Yeah, that's a good question. We don't know. I mean, we've had conversations. I mean, we probably end up going to sell it. I mean, we're not going to keep it. It's just a lot on the family. So yeah, we're probably going to end up selling it.
Okay, that makes sense. And most people tell me that they have a family member or someone who's going to end up buying everyone else out. I imagine that's probably the same for you.
Um, yeah, exactly.
I gotcha. And if for some reason that doesn't pan out, I mean, they don't end up buying the house, what do you guys see yourselves doing next?
Yeah, no. If someone doesn't purchase it, then we'll end up probably just having to put it on the market. Is the goal?
Oh, okay. And if you go that route, you probably already have an agent lined up who you're committed to working with, right?
No, that's the thing. I mean, this was my uncle's house, and we don't we don't really know anybody in that area.
Oh, shoot. I mean, this might be too soon. You might not even know yet, but at this stage, a lot of my clients are either trying to determine how to clean up and prepare the house for sale. They're trying to figure out what it's worth, or is there something else you guys are focused on right now?
All of that, and more. All of that and more. I mean,
Okay.
that's exactly what we're dealing with right now.
Gosh. Well, if there were a few specific updates that have been really profitable recently that were helping the home sell quicker, would you guys want to know about it for when you do get to that point down the road? Would that info
Yeah,
be helpful?
yeah,
Okay.
that'd be super helpful.
Well, what some of my clients have done this early on is just have me come out, meet me at the property, they can put a face to the name. And when I'm there, I can kind of share with you what's worked for my clients, what the home could realistically go for, and what work's actually worth putting into it. I mean, would that info be helpful for you and your family at this stage in the process, or do you think it's just too soon with everything you're juggling?
No, that'd be really good.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I do there. It's kind of like I was super inspired by like the preview appointments that Austin Rankin does in with the FISBOs. So I tried to
Yep.
combine those, and we've done a lot of role play around that with some people I work with.
Dude, your skills are unreal. Truly. Genuinely, I mean that. I mean, you've been in the program for 3 years, right? Uh,
Yeah, 2 3 years.
2 or 3 years. And I mean, I'm telling you, I've heard a lot of people on the phone. Your skills are better than even had imagined. I know you work hard. I told you before we hit the recording, you're the
Yeah,
guy that's prospecting every day, that's like silent behind the scenes. Um, you deserve a lot of credit, dude. You deserve a lot of credit.
appreciate that.
You have mastered the delivery of the push away technique. Probably some of the best I've ever heard. Genuinely, I mean that.
Took a lot of work.
I
Took a lot of
know.
work. We role played that a lot. I got help from a lot of other people, but yeah, I mean, you work at it, you role play, you listen to your call. I mean, it works, man. Stuff works.
It,
I appreciate it.
yeah, I mean, it's just so non-threatening. It's so when you role played it, it's so genuine. Like you come across like you actually just like that genuine curiosity, and you truly want to help, and you're really really good at supporting the person's autonomy. And so with those, out of curiosity, because of that conversation, what does conversion look like on probates specifically? And I don't know if you track it this closely, but specifically like first contact to lead, I would imagine it's really, really high. Would that be fair?
Oh, it's by far okay, aside from Fizzbos, it's my highest one. There's an issue with that though. Probates, I call them right away, like sometimes within a week of them filing probate. This person might have passed away like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
They don't know what they're doing most of the time. So there's just not
totally.
I could force them in as a lead, but there's realistically not enough information to qualify it as a lead. So what I do is like half the people I'll generate as a lead later. And I think I did the numbers last night for the last 2 months. Give me just a second. It's on my
No
phone.
problem. This is really helpful. No, this is great. I'm telling you, people in the audience right now, they're getting a lot of value. Guys, we're just getting started. So
Four
yeah,
4.4%, which is my second highest one, and that's just the first contact ones.
it's amazing.
But the rest of the conversions are insane. Right before we hopped on this, 15 minutes before this, I got a call back from a probate I met with 3 months ago. She was going to sell it to her brother, and it didn't pan out. So she calls me and wanted me to list it. That
It's
literally
amazing.
happened 15 minutes ago. I haven't spoken to this woman 2 months.
Wow, it's
So,
incredible.
I mean,
And
it's
so, and Fizbo. So what's Fizbo? Fizbo's your highest converting lead.
so Fizbo's like contact to lead wise, and I've gotten a couple Fizbo listings this year, but I'm totally forcing leads there. I was doing a really poor job of disqualifying it and getting motivation. So I'm working on that more now, but still, I'm getting good leads there. The issue with Fizbos is I give them enough help, they actually just sell it on their own.
Right. Yeah.
That's happened like 3 4 times so far this year,
Yeah.
which I'm happy to help people. I've gotten a couple good listings there, but that's been the main issue there rather than losing listings,
Yeah. But
honestly.
is that your highest converting contact to lead, or is there something higher?
No, that's it. It's like 15%, which is super, super inflated. It should probably be half that
Yeah, that's fair.
from
Yeah,
forced
no,
leads.
that's great. That's great. Okay, great. So let's talk about you're getting roughly, if you do 25, 30 contacts, you're getting what on average? One really good, maybe two good leads per day.
Maybe one. It's been low recently because I've been doing a ton of circle. That just sucks. Why would anyone move right now? And then
Yeah,
expireds. I've been pushing expireds away way too much. So I need to kind of dial that back in and do more of the disqualifying at the end rather than up front. I think
sure.
that's causing me issues the last month or two. But I'd say, yeah, I get like 4 or 5 leads a week, honestly, doing that with the lead sources I'm calling.
That's
If I'm
great.
doing
And again,
25 probate contacts a day, I'll get a couple leads. But
that's great.
otherwise, it's lower.
And again, the work that we're doing here is you're investing your time and your skills to generate the lead. You're not investing money buying the lead, and you're doing the qualification. Okay. Now,
Mhm.
there's more on the first call, and maybe some people can ask you this at the end of this from the live audience. But I want to move on to lead follow up for a second.
Mhm.
What role has that played? Because I think that everyone has this thing like, man, I struggle with it, and I know how important it is, and I'm still working on it. How big of a impact has your lead follow up made in your business as of the last, call it, year and a half?
It's made a lot because I wasn't doing a good job of follow up for a while. It was just like checking in, and that's not very valuable. It turns out,
Yeah,
So, watching back the preview video with Austin Rankin, I think it was last year. He talks about just coming from a place of service, like think outside of the box. How can you help this person?
Yeah.
Depending on the lead source, I'll do that. Like I'll send people comps that are selling near them for probate and stuff like that. Obviously, all of the FISBO stuff, some of that applies to expireds as well. But the follow ups, just I'm doing it from a perspective of like, how can I actually provide something of value,
And
something
are
more
you doing
personal.
it? Are you doing it on any type of schedule, or are you doing it? Is there a system to it?
It depends on the type of lead. It depends on the type of lead, but yeah, like I'm gonna call if it's a legit lead, they're getting called at least once a month. Most
Okay.
likely more free. It just depends on how soon their timeline is. And with a lot of the people, like probates, for example, they're not going to do anything for 3 months. They usually can't because of the legal process. So it's a much more like if I talk to someone they don't know what they're doing, I'm not going to talk to them again for 2 to 4 weeks because it's just too soon. Like they
Yeah.
genuinely don't know. Whereas if it's a hot expired, yeah, I'm going to call them daily and do a bunch of other stuff to follow up that I wouldn't otherwise do. So it's more
Got it.
dependent on the lead type rather than the type of lead, I guess.
So have you or anybody in your accountability group have any of you tried HomeBot? Put any of your clients or people on your database on HomeBot?
One of my old teams had that, but I haven't used it. I know what it
Okay.
is. What do you
Yeah.
think about it?
I mean, I really like it a lot. I mean, it just fully automates the weekly email and provides the information in that email that it would take us so
Mm-hmm.
long to put together. And I think it's like $30 a month. And so I
It's
think, yeah, that's it.
I thought it
So I
was like
think
hundreds. Wow.
no, so I think a lot of agents might want. I'm going to start talking about it a little bit more. Maybe we'll even do a workshop with them here soon. But I think there's so much value to HomeBot and all that it has to provide to, like, I mean, they're seeing open rates of like 88 to 90% because how much value they're packing into that
Oh
information.
yeah.
It's unbelievable. So anyway, I just didn't know if you guys were doing that. All right, let's shift to the presentation for a second. So you're 22 years old. I don't know if you ever had or you ever felt imposter syndrome. And it doesn't matter about your age. I think everybody that's newer to this business goes and meets with people that they don't know, and they have a level of maybe they're just not as certain or as confident. Talk to us about what you've done over the last year and a half or 2 years that's helped you at the presentation, at a listing appointment to earn a complete stranger's business. And I know there's a lot, Otis. I know it's a big question, but is there one or two things that you feel that you have practiced at the presentation or with the listing presentation that's helped you to win clients?
Yeah, there are. So my conversion rate has tripled since where it was last year. I was doing like 25-ish, like low mid 20% range all of last year. And now
Yep.
I'm like 70 for
That's a huge
my
difference.
listing sign. And that really started from like one, I'm doing the calls every day, but in December of this year, I really got dialed in on just focusing on my skills. Like I was spending hours every day just role playing the listing presentation. I recorded appointments. That is the quickest growth I've ever seen personally with my appointments is when I recorded them and listened back to it. Like the rate at which you learn from that is like unmatched by anything else I've ever done. It's incredible.
And so
Everyone
let's
should
just
be
make sure
doing
everyone
that.
heard. Yeah, everyone should be recording your actual appointments. Now, do you just do it and throw it in your suit code, or do you ask the prospect, or how do you record it? What's the
I'll ask
tactical
them, and
piece
here's
there?
how I frame it. I have my iPad, so I can just screen record it with audio, and it records the screen and the whole conversation. It's super simple. I'll be like, hey, what we're going to go over a lot of really in-depth market information here, and sometimes it's a lot for people to remember because I'm going to go over so much stuff that's important. What some people have found helpful is if I just record the conversation and send you a copy of it later, so you have it to reference. And they
Super
say
smart.
yes.
And has yes every time. Has anybody ever rejected you on it? Ever?
Since I started phrasing it like that, no. There was one
Right.
lady right when I started that said no, but I said it in a weird way. It was my fault. But once you phrase it like that as valuable, they don't care.
So that's the whole thing. For some, everyone's like, I don't know, that's kind of weird. That's not weird. You're recording it for both of your behalfs. They're going to get a copy. You're going to get a copy. Okay. So 70%, did you say conversion? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is incredible. So it went from 25% to 70%. What happens when you set a listing appointment? Walk us through what conversation you're having when the appointment is set. Then, Otis, I'd like to go through what you're doing prior to the appointment, if anything, and then maybe give us one tactical part at the appointment. So let's go back. So you set an appointment. I'm a prospect. I say, yeah,
Yeah.
Thursday this week, 5 o'clock, Otis. Yes, that works fine to meet with you. No problem. What happens next? What do you say?
I mean, we're gonna do like disqualifying. I literally just copy and pasted what Bryce Miranda mentioned on one of these calls months ago. Simplest thing ever, gets you a ton of good info, and it takes long enough you build more rapport off that. And most of my appointments aren't set on the first call now just because of the lead types I'm
Right.
calling. There's a stupid amount of rapport that's built up in that period. Like they know me, they trust me, they like me, they want to have me come by. Like I'm
Yep.
invited over a lot of times too.
Yeah,
So you
absolutely.
already
So
have
so
that
so
going. Yeah.
so let's just make sure people don't miss that. Now, a lot of your business, a lot of your appointments are coming out of lead follow up versus the first contact. Is that what you said?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So
Exactly.
when someone says yes, I'd like to meet with you, you're going through some type of qualification questionnaire, if you will, to make sure that you
Mhm.
prepare for the appointment. Can you walk
Mhm.
us through just some of those questions that you're asking?
Yeah, so if there's like two people, again, this is copied from Bryce Brand. I did not make this up at all. Just copied it and it works awesome. So there's two people on the top, like, hey, is everyone going to be present? Sometimes they're both not. You're not getting assigned then. Got to make
Yeah.
sure. What updates have you made to the house? Build a rapport based off that. What's the payoff? I want to put together a net sheet for you. I know you came off at the market at this price if it's an expired, or it's like, what price did you guys have in mind? Depending on what they say there, you push back like, hey, if we try everything we can to get that number and it's just not happening, the market's not supporting it, could you guys just keep it at that point? Push them away. And then the other thing I asked that was from that as well is like, hey, what are you looking for in your next agent? And I only ask that because if it's something I can't do, I'll be upfront with you right now and not waste your time.
It's great.
Tell you how to sell them. And then you ask like, hey, if everything looks good and you feel like you agree with my plan, you think I can help you, is there any reason you wouldn't put me to work right away so I can go find you a buyer? Something to that effect.
It's great. And you
You're
guys that are
selling them
watching this,
before the appointment again, even before the first where you set the agenda. You're doing the
yeah,
same thing before.
the sale is happening up front, not at the end.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So if we close hard up front, then the end becomes easy. And you guys, this pre-qualification language is all in the listing agent resources in school if you guys want it. So and everybody's scared to ask those questions up front in the beginning because they're afraid that they're going to find out that they don't have a real appointment. But once you get over that, once you've gone on enough unqualified appointments, Otis, you start to learn really quick. No, I can't afford to keep driving around like crazy. And
That's
you
always
ask these questions and you find out a lot about the appointment you're about to go on. Would that be fair?
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Then once you get to the appointment, what is it that you're doing? What happens next? Like or let me backtrack. So now you've set the appointment. Are you doing anything in between the appointment? Are you sending a pre-listing packet? Are you sending an email? Are you calling? Are you doing anything in between appointment
Nothing
set and appointment met?
honestly, nothing major that's going to contribute to the conversion. And like, so my expired set to med is much lower than everything else as a result of that, but I'm just not getting a ton of business from there anymore. It depends. Most of my appointments that I set are they're pretty close together. The set to the actual days can happen within 2 or 3 days. There's not a ton that needs to be done, especially given the lead source. But I'm just continuing to follow up. I might call them to get more information about the house. If it's longer out, I'm going to keep them updated with the market and stuff going on there. But there's really nothing major I'm doing. And my set
Cool.
to med is still probably 70%,
Oh, that's great. Okay, good.
70%.
Okay. So then what is the part of your listing presentation that you think is the most impactful that really moves the needle for the prospect to say, yeah, this is our guy. We're going to hire you? What part of the presentation, rather? That's
I
probably better.
don't know if it's a part of the presentation. Obviously, the start is really valuable because you get them to agree to everything. You're on the same page. You know the dynamic of the conversation. But I've been told by a lot of people recently afterwards, like, "Hey, you communicate very well." Everyone thinks I'm 30 for some reason lately. I don't look 30 at all, but just
Well,
the
you're
way I
very well
communicate.
articulate. You're very
Yeah.
confident. You're very well articulate because this is a testament to the work you've put in. Like,
Mhm.
I'm going to come back to that in a second. Keep going.
But they just appreciate the way I communicate, and I've really internalized the message of what we're trying to communicate with the presentation, so I have more time to go off script and just have a conversation and then bring it back. My appointments last multiple hours oftentimes because I'm just being a human being talking to these people. Maybe too much, but I mean it's working relatively well at the moment. And after watching your video with Easy, there's still a whole lot I need to work on. I mean, I still suck with being a little bit scripted, but the most valuable pieces are when you go off script and you just have a conversation
Yeah.
relating to whatever comes up.
Yeah.
That ability, I think, that's changed it for me.
Give people, and then you guys can ask Otis anything you guys want if you guys want to start raising your hands, because we got to get Otis back on the phone. But how much time did you put into practicing the listing presentation. Give these people the reality of what it took for you to be able to go to and present the way that you do.
I mean, it's an hour a day for weeks and weeks, and then I'm in the car listening back to it. I'm talking to like, what's cool about my market, I usually have to drive 30 minutes to an appointment, so I'm not listening to the radio or watching YouTube in there. I'm literally role playing with myself before the appointment, just because I know everything I put together. I spent an hour or two putting together this presentation, and I'm sitting there going over everything, how I want to communicate it, like what am I trying to communicate here, and I really dial that in before the appointment. So I'm even role playing that individual presentation before I get there. That's been helpful
great.
too.
And then you're recording the real thing and going back and listening to your own game film.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then lastly, for me, the market has shifted since you've gotten your license. It's been harder to get, listings sold. When it comes to getting your clients, the conversation around price, what type of conversation are you having with the clients as of lately to make sure that not only that you take the right listings, but you take them under the right expectations such that you actually get listings sold versus you having listings that end up expiring and not selling? Anything you've learned over the last 6 months that maybe was different than when you first got licensed 3 years ago?
So the market's always sucked. My first listing went live right as the market shifted over Mother's Day in May. So I've never known a good market.
Yeah.
So if you disqualify well enough to know their motivation, you don't have, I'm like, whatever, I'll take it a little bit high, but I just know that you're going to have to drop the price if you want to sell it. And I know you need to sell it, so it's going to happen. It's much easier that way. So I'm not hoping for them to drop the price.
Let me stick on that point. What you mean is that you've gotten really good at taking listings from people that have real motivation to sell versus talking the wrong person into listing. Would that be fair? Is that what you mean?
I've gotten, you can call it so good at it to an extent where I'm probably losing opportunities because I disqualify too much up front. That's the extent to which I do it. So I need to work on that, but still it's working all right now. But if you know they need to sell, you know why they need to sell, the price conversation's much easier. They're going to be much more willing to do that if they need to do something. If they just want to sell, like, not the market for that. I just tell them to keep it before we even meet.
Yeah,
maybe to an extreme degree.
And when you talk about price, let's just say we're at a presentation. I don't know if we want to do this last role play and then we'll open this up for Q&A. But I said, we get to a point of price and we agree on price. What expectations are you setting after we've agreed on, hey, we think this price makes sense? Are you doing the one of three? Are you doing anything there to perhaps get in front of a price reduction conversation down the road that probably needs to be had?
Again, it really depends on the scenario in the market, because everything I do is so based off of market data, and I'll pull totally different data depending on what applies to support the price. It's not rigid. I'm not doing the same presentation every time. Sometimes I'll plug in showing activity, showings per listing, percentages of price brackets, stuff like that. Sometimes I'll use the inventory tool that you have in the presentation if it applies to what the price I'm recommending is. So you do all of that. And if I could do anything, it's probably the one of three thing. Depending on how they want to start, how confident I am in that price that they want to start at, I would say.
Amazing. It's great. All right. You guys, if you have questions for Otis, we have him for another 10 minutes. As they're getting their questions prepared, if you did get licensed all over again and you came out of that testing center, knowing what you know now, all the work you put in over the last 3 years, how would you start? How would you start differently?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the same answer probably everyone does in here. I mean, I would just sign up with you right away and then get an actual plan in place right from the start, and I'd be miles ahead of where I am now. But I've learned a whole lot. I wouldn't change the journey, ultimately.
Yeah, that's true. And I appreciate the kind words, but I genuinely mean this. Like, so many new agents look at making the investment into coaching as this expense that they don't understand how important it is. You talked about the ignorance tax. Can you speak to that for 1 second? The people that say, well, I can't afford it. When you said I can't afford not to, how did you come to that realization? And how would you communicate to the agent who says, well, I can't afford it?
Yeah, so I mean, this kind of goes back to like an Alex Hormozy point he said before. It's like it's costing you X amount of dollars not to have the skill or not to pay for it. So if you want to make $1 million a year and you're stuck at 100, it costs you $900,000 every year not to be at that skill set. Obviously, extreme numbers, but it's the same concept. And I mean, like, for the value and what you and your business and your coaching have done for me and my business, it's a pretty good deal. A
Yeah.
pretty good deal at the end of the day. You
Yeah.
know,
There's decent ROI. Fair?
it's been all right. It's been all right.
It's great. All right, Sam, you got your boy going to start us off. Go ahead, Sam.